So first off, we start with 60 grams of milk powder. Where's the milk powder thingy? So here is our milk powder. Then we put 35 grams of cake flour. Next, we put 120 milliliters of milk, which is also 4 ounces, 4 fluid ounces. After you've put those 3 things in there, you just start mixing. Next comes 3 eggs. Here's egg number 1, egg number 2, and now egg number 3. Next is 50 grams of melted butter, 60 grams of sugar. All right, the next step is to go ahead and put the stove on low. So there we have on low. And then you're just gonna put the nice stuff in there. And it's just gonna take a few minutes. The goal is it for just to heat. And then later on you can start mixing once it gets all clumpy, kind of like eggs. So here we have a bag of rice flour. Can we see the rice flour in my assistant, please? All right, so here we have the rice flour. And we're going to need 50 grams of this. All right, so my assistant here is currently struggling to open that. Now we're gonna measure it. There we go. All right, we need 50 grams of this. Okay, how many is that?
You need 60?
We need 50.
Okay. Oops. There you go.
All right, so let's go ahead and put this as our new bowl. And by the way, while this is going on, we're just kind of waiting for this to harden a little bit. And you can see here that it is beginning to get a little hot. All right, and then we put it in there, yes? All right, so now we need this. Oh, wait a second. Okay, it doesn't matter. All right, so here we have rice flour, and then we have glutinous rice flour. Both of them we need 50 grams of. So we've already done the 50 grams of the rice flour. Now we're gonna need 50 grams of the glutinous rice flour. Okay, so now we're gonna open this. And we're gonna need 50 grams. Okay, how many is that?
30.
All right, 50 grams of the glutinous rice flour. All right, now we're back to the cake flour. And actually what we need is wheat starch, but we couldn't grab a hold of that. But cake flour, not all-purpose flour, but cake flour is the appropriate substitute, and we need 25 grams. All right. 25 grams of sugar. And while it's there, let's go ahead and check out how the custard is doing. All right, so we're still not getting any lumps, so it's still cooking. And that's okay. Ooh, I am starting to feel some lumps here. But for the most part, it's still quite liquidy. All right, now we need 185 milliliters of milk, which is 6.26 fluid ounces. Next is this condensed milk, of which we need 25 grams. I don't know what that is in fluid ounces. I forgot to ask Siri. And it's actually confusing because it says 25 grams in the recipe here, but this is a fluid, so it could be 25 milliliters instead. We don't know, but we'll see. It's not like having too much of this can hurt anyway. All right, we're just waiting for my assistant to pour it into the mix. Ooh. Okay, so this one looks like it's a little bit, requires a little bit of love here. All right, so let's go check to see how the custard is doing. Ooh, okay. So I'm starting to get a little resistance here, and it's kind of hard to do this with one hand. Assistant, could you please? All right, so let's see how this is. Oops, yeah, it's kind of hard, right? All right, so we can see that we're starting to get some lumps. Alright, so we've recruited another assistant, and here we are, and we see that the custard mix is starting to get a little clumpy, and we're just going to continue to stir it over the next couple of minutes until it gets nice and thick. Now that it's done, we're going to put it in this lovely little plate. See how hot it is? The goal is going to be to just put it in here. All right, look, we have, okay. You got a spoon. All right, so the assistant's getting a spoon just to get the final things in here. Okay. And now we're going to cover it. And here's that other stuff. Ooh, look at that. We'll get to this in a second. We're just gonna cover it. And what are we gonna do with it? Well, we're gonna put it in the refrigerator. And we'll get back to this in a second. We'll put the bowl where we have our stuff into the, like we're gonna steam it basically. And it needs to be on medium heat. Okay, and it's gonna be here for the next 25 minutes. You have the cover, Mom?
Yes.
Okay, my assistant will be looking for the cover. All right. Earlier today, we went to the Taiwanese little market, and this is how we're going to be making the mooncake stuff later on. And we need to put 15 grams of the glutinous rice flour, and it's going to be used at the end kind of so that it doesn't stick. And so we need 50 grams, and we kind of just need to heat it on the stove for about 5 minutes. Kind of acting just as a lubricant. All right, so we've taken the custard filling out, and now...
Wait, why is it like that?
We're going to, that's why it is. We're going to make little balls, and each one needs to be 25 grams. Now, I've recruited another helper who's
Don't put our faces.
No, no faces, no faces.
Oh, this is too big. 25?
Yeah. There, it made 16 little round thingies. And now, we are just waiting for this. Whoops, this is very hot, y'all. Okay. Woo. All right, give it about 5 more minutes and it should be ready. All right, so it's ready now. So now we're gonna put a little bit of oil. So, okay. It's supposed to be 20 grams of oil.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're just gonna cut it. Look at that. Assistant. Oh, look at that. It's almost like tofu, or it's kind of like jelly, isn't it? And so we're gonna knead this. So this is gonna be a little while, but we'll show you what it looks like in a bit. All right, so we're transferring the cover onto a bigger bowl, and then we are going to knead it. Jason right now is kneading it a little bit. The dough is still a little warm. All right, so the dough has been kneaded, or the outside of the mooncake has been kneaded, and it's been separated into 4 different, or it's about to be separated into 4, because we have 1, 2, 3, we have 4 bowls. I couldn't find the 4th little bowl. No, it's not. My assistant will now demonstrate how we fill in these little mooncakes. So we've already put food dye into the dough, and now we're putting in the custard filling. So this is 20 grams of the shell and 25 grams of the custard. Just put it on there. Make sure that's nice and round. We also put a little bit of this rice flour so that it doesn't stick. Doesn't stick where? Well, in the molding, of course. And this is Daisy saying hi. Okay. Put a little bit more of this rice flour in there. You don't have to put it after each one. Just enough so that it doesn't stick. Alright, and it's gonna go into the mold.
We need a plate.
Oh, we need a plate. We need a plate. Okay. Plate right here. Alright, so notice here I got a little bit stuck. So my assistant will now use a spoon. Grab a spoon. Okay. And voila. Okay, so not entirely perfect, but that's alright. We can fix the edges here a little bit. That's what the other side looks like. Alright, and so remember, these eventually will need to go into the freezer. But this is our very first one, and you can see here the little design here. Afterwards, I will use a nice little hair dryer, blow dryer, to take off some of this powder.